Okay guys, I'm Tiny. This is Tiny's Tiny Homestead. Gosh, mosquitoes. I am making nesting boxes. I'm gonna be making 2 nesting boxes today. I have here an 8-foot 1x10. I found that this is the best and easiest wood to make nesting boxes. They're like the perfect height. They're 10 inches and they're 1 inch thick. So they're not too heavy, they're durable, it's raw, so it's not treated. And with an 8-foot, I can make exactly 2. So I'm gonna be making 2 16-inch ones. So I'm just marking it every 16 inches, and then I'll mark 2 10-inch boards. So I've marked off 4 16-inch boards, which will be my sides, 2 10 inches, which will be my backs, and 2 4 inches, which will be my fronts. You need something with a straight edge. To mark it. I'm just using the skill saw. I'm not using my table saw or miter saw today because it's wet. It's been raining because of Ida. Now I'm gonna cut. I have a table for like my saws. I would recommend putting something on the end to catch the wood boards, because sometimes if they fall, they can crack. Then that's a waste of wood and a waste of money. But you want to measure however tall you made your front. I made mine 4 inches. You want to measure 4 inches from the bottom, and that's where you want to start your cut. And then I'm just gonna cut it 6 inches from the back. So I just measure 6 inches from the bottom and 4 inches from the bottom and 6 inches from the back, and then I'm just gonna draw a straight line just like that, and I'm gonna cut this piece off. So you can see now I have 2 angle pieces, and these will be the sides. So I've loaded the compressor, and I have my nail gun attachment. I've loaded the nails. Never aim this at anything you're not ready to shoot. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other one, and then we'll put the bottoms on. I don't use wood bottoms, I use wire. And I'll show you those in a second. So I have my 2 boxes. You can see I built them different. This one I put the back and the front on the ends of the sides. You can see it sticks out, and it makes it longer but narrower. And then this one I built, and I put the front and the back pieces on the inside, and it makes it wider but shorter. It doesn't really matter as long as they're big enough for your rabbits, and they'll fit in your cage door. So the main thing you want to remember when building your nesting box is to make sure it will fit through whatever cage door you have. You can't build it so big that it won't fit through your door. So our doors are 12 by 12 inches, so anything smaller than that, which I've seen and I've had happen to me before. I built a nesting box and then it didn't fit. So then I had to take it apart and cut it. This in for Janice Hoplin. See, this is what I mean. Now we have to make sure it actually fit, which apparently I built it a little big. Maybe I did build it 12 inches. How big did I build this box? Okay. So maybe it'll fit in sideways. So it's literally, now bedding's falling out. Don't mind me. So this is what I was talking about. The number one thing when you build a nesting box is to make sure it'll fit in your cage door. That's what you really want to worry about. So you can see I don't have a bottom. I use wire. This is 1/2 inch. I'm using 1/2 inch because that's just what I have. You have to make sure, you have to use at least 1/2 inch or smaller. On some of my boxes I have 1/4 inch, and I'll show you. You want the pee and the poop to fall through and give enough ventilation in the summer, but you don't want it too big where the babies can fall through. So that's why you can't use 1 inch. You have to use at least 1/2. So I'm gonna measure it and cut it and staple it on. So I have my piece of wire. I have just a regular manual staple gun. I'm gonna staple it on. And now you have a bottom. I do need to trim off a little bit of wire on over here. I don't know what happened. My box is probably crooked, like always. So that is a nesting box. Once I have everything set up, probably takes me like 10 or 15 minutes to build these. I find they're more sturdier than the store-bought ones, and I can customize them how I want. So if I have a smaller rabbit or a bigger rabbit, I can just build whatever I want. I can build it exactly to the specs that I want it. You'll also notice I don't put a baby scraper on the front. I don't have a problem, not to say I never will, but I don't have a problem with kits popping out of the box. So I don't have a baby scraper. If this is a problem that you have though, what you'll do is you'll just take a length of wood the size of the front of your box and put it on like this. And then when the dough jumps out of the hole, the idea is any kits that are still latched on will be scraped off and fall back into the box instead of popping out. Because when they jump out, they tend to jump a little bit high. So this will catch any of the babies and pop them off and put them back in the box. But I will show you, and you're gonna have to excuse, this has been sitting underneath my porch for a little bit. It needs to be cleaned. But this is my junior nest box. So once they start jumping out around 10 to 14 days, I take out the regular nesting box and I put in one of these, and it's just the same thing, the 1x10s, and I cut the back 18 inches and I cut the two sides 10 inches, and then I cut a 2x2 to fit in between, and I put wire on the bottom. You could put a top on too. Like if your doe is really not happy with her kits, sometimes they want a place to get away, you could put a top, like a half top on, so she has somewhere to jump up to get away from her kits. But this allows the kits to get in and out without getting stuck outside the nesting box, which can happen once they start jumping out. They can't get back in, and then they get stuck outside, and if it's the winter, then they can freeze. Or if she goes in the nesting box to feed the kits and one is stuck outside the box, she's not necessarily gonna feed that kit. So by doing this, there's still a little lip. I'll put shavings and hay. They have somewhere to hide out, but they can get in and out, no problem. But you see here, if you build a 3 or 4 inch front lip, because you put so much shavings and hay in, inside will be higher so they can jump out, but they can't clear this lip when they're only 2 weeks old. I also find it keeps these cleaner because a lot of people will do this once their kids can jump in and out. They put their nesting boxes on the side so the kids can get in and out and still have somewhere to hide. But the problem is they're peeing and pooping, and so is your dough all over the inside of the sides, and it gets really dirty. And that's one of the main reasons I keep a wire bottom, is for sanitary reasons. Also in the summer or in the spring or late fall, even if it's still warmer, it leaves ventilation. The poop and pee can fall through. In the winter, I'll put a piece of cardboard. I'll cut a piece of cardboard and put it on here. The dough will probably dig it, but at least it gives them some kind of protection from the cold coming through. It's way more versatile than having like a wood bottom where the poop and the pee is soaking through. With the big bun box, which I got that idea from Bobby from the Rabbitry Center, he uses like a similar box. Those are the nesting boxes, how to make a nesting box. I will leave the dimensions in the description. Thank you for watching.